Okay, like I said, we're just going to give a couple more minutes for people to log in. Hope you guys can see my screen. Oh. I heard there's a wrestling tournament going on right now. Darren texted me. Apparently they're doing really well. Do we have anyone from the board logged in other than, is it just Mary?
Yeah, it's just here.
It's just here. Okay, cool. All right, so I figure we'll go through my section stuff, the coach, like the important stuff first, and then we'll hit the board stuff at the end, mostly for the new parents, just to make this as efficient as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people. Sweet. So awesome. Okay, looks like we got about a dozen or so people. This is being recorded, so the people that couldn't make it, I know there's a big wrestling tournament going on right now, which is kind of cool. I had props out to Ustra and Thayer and all the guys that are doing wrestling right now. Good luck to them. Hopefully they do well. So I know they're on different teams, but oh, and oh yeah, Kobe, no, not Kobe Wagger, the other Wager, Caleb Wager. Yeah, so both Calebs. Okay, well, so we're gonna get started real quick. So in case you guys didn't know, Pete White, who was the founder of North County Lacrosse and co-founder of the Whatcom Warriors back, in 2004, I think is when it really started. He passed away this last summer, and so it's kind of unfortunate. It was complications. He had some heart issues, and so just, I think, had the impact that he's made on the sport in this area, just, and where he's been in Colorado, it's just been unmeasurable. And, it's unfortunate that he passed away. So we're going to do this year is we're going to have the broken W, kind of like Pete White, with 2021 on it, on the helmets, kind of as a memorable thing. The W is supposed to signify the Whatcom lacrosse wide lacrosse that he brought to the county, and also his last name. And it's going to have the original North Carolina lacrosse colors associated with it. So we're going to have that stickers on the back of the helmets this year, just to kind of honor what he has done and what he's given to the sport. And like I said, I have the opportunity to coach with them, and the players that have come out of that program, some of them are still coaching now. So huge testament to the reach and impact that he's had on these kids. So anyway, so then thanks, big shout out, thank you. I don't know if Yetcha or if Mary wants to handle the volunteer appreciation from last year and kind of give a little thank you. We'll hit this again when we get to the board section. Is there anything you guys want to add? Mary?
I was just super appreciative of the parents who stepped up to run the scorebook and be sideline managers. Without our volunteers, this program does not run smoothly. And so I will be hitting you up for volunteering this year.
And just so you know, Mary is the youth coordinator this year, so she's got her hands full with most of the youth stuff, but she's got kids on high school and kids on 7-8, kids on 3-4 and on 5-6. So she's not 5-6, but 7-8. So she's pretty well covered in the program. And yeah, so
coaching at 5-6. So kind of at 562.
Yeah, exactly. And then another shout out. Yeah, we have it's pretty awesome. We have Tommy coaching, we have Bernie coaching. We might get some reffing out of Foster and some coaching and reffing out of Floyd possibly. And just having these kids kind of volunteer to give back to the program has been huge. And so mad shout out to them, Tommy, Kai, and the rest of the crew that's kind of stepping up to help fill in some coaching roles and other things. So it's pretty awesome. Like, you know, we get about 2% of kids playing lacrosse after high school. And if we can get them connected reffing and coaching and giving back in other ways, I think that's another huge success. So my contact information, you guys can reach me. Everyone, I'm the head coach. There's my phone number and my email. It'll be at the end of the presentation as well. So you have that information. If you can't get a hold of me, there's the two primary ways, plus the app and everything else that we use to kind of communicate, which we'll kind of touch base on. But our team and parent communication, again, if you haven't downloaded the Sports Engine app, please go and download the Sports Engine app, especially the new parents that are coming in. It's our primary form of communication. It's not just for the players, it's also for the parents. So we figured out last year that we can add both parents and players to the communication so that everyone's getting it. But if you're, these are for the parents. If your kids aren't signed up, aren't getting the information in the app, make sure that we get that information updated so that everyone is being communicated with. And we plan to send out weekly state of the team kind of communication just to build culture. Team dinners and all that stuff will be organized through the app. So scheduled and organized through the app. So make sure you download it. The practice and game schedules, this is pretty much the most important part of this. First practice is scheduled February 28th. We'll be, for the first 2 weeks, just like we do every year, we'll be at Whatcom Community College on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I should have put the times on there. In fact, I'll do that after, I'll email that out after this. It'll get loaded in the app anyways, but I can't remember what the times are off the top of my head. I'll have to double check that. But they are in the evenings, a little bit later in the evenings. I think it's at 6 o'clock is when we're able to get on the field at Whatcom. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll be at Bender, and we will be doing, again, auxiliary practices up at Baker for those first 2 weeks, especially Tuesdays and Thursdays for the kids that are coming out up there, just to kind of keep growing that in that direction. After the first 2 weeks of the season, we switched to Bender fully with Friday practices at Whatcom Community College. That's gonna be our film day in the classroom, just like we always do, and then on the turf for the second hour of practice. All of our games, except for our home games, are on turf, so we got to be practicing on turf. And really thankful for the board to kind of continue that. We started that a couple years ago, and the kids kind of love that Friday night lacrosse under the lights kind of thing, which is pretty epic. Spring break, we will be practicing. I do know that some seniors have already reached out to me about planning their college visits and stuff, and just working through the schedule. It's that we obviously support that work, but we will be doing spring break practices. Seniors are expected to be doing their college visits and stuff, and we'll be flexible and working with all of them to make sure that they're successful in their endeavors. And mad shout out to Money. I don't know if you guys saw the game at Cal Poly. He had a pretty good clinching goal this last week, or in this last month. I don't remember which game it was, but it was pretty cool. So if you guys have a chance to see Money play, his little toe drag, he's out there. So anyways, and then the game schedules, we have varsity and JV games scheduled this year. So they're already loaded into the Sports Engine app. I know Nate Bocci was asking for the game schedule. It's loaded for both varsity and JV. The first game is actually our home opener, and that will be on March 15th. And then the first JV game for our freshman underclass kind of program is going to be on March 28th. We have 6 JV games scheduled, and I think 10 to 12 varsity games scheduled, putting us right at 18. So it's going to be a good season. Kind of excited about it. So that's news, by the way. We have it's the first time we've done a JV program. So kind of keep recruiting numbers, and if those freshmen are interested in coming out, make sure you encourage them to come out and join the team. There's going to be a great opportunity for them to get some good playing time in those games, because our seniors and our juniors aren't going to be playing. We're going to be mostly playing the freshmen and sophomores, underclassmen. So make sure you guys are out there recruiting and getting guys to come out to those games. And then I know you guys all know this, the 2022 requirements for the chest pads. We've been talking about it for about 2 years now. It's here. So the new chest pads are required to meet the new NOCSI 2022 standards for the cardiac. It's the chest cavity protection. If it doesn't have that little NOCSI EKG looking symbol on it, it's not compliant for 2022. The way this is going to work is during the pregame certification, I will certify that players are legally equipped by rule. There's not going to be any physical checks of the pads, but like I said, if you want to be compliant this year, you need to have the NOCSI 2022 standard chest pads. If there's an issue on the field due to injury, especially anything related to the heart or chest, US Lacrosse, our insurance company, will be inquiring as to which pads the players had, and if there are issues, then that's the liabilities on the individual parents and the players. So we are expecting everyone to have the correct chest pads, and I'm not going to be doing a check, but we're going to be encouraging everyone to make sure that they get the proper gear. Is there anyone that does not have chest pads yet? Just feel free to unmute or check in with me after this presentation, and we can work some magic to get you guys some gear. Inventory is extremely low, so if you've waited, it's probably going to be a little bit of a risk, but we will make it work. So any questions on that before I move on? I know that's probably going to bring up some. Nope. Okay. Team volunteers. Every year we need scorers, timers. We need 1 for away games and at least 3 for home games. All you veterans out there that can help. It was cool to see all the new parents helping out last year, and especially mad shout out for the Ken and Tanner, and it was awesome to see you guys at the table scoring, and Dave and Mario and everyone else. So we're going to have a new families coming in. We want to be training them as well. The other thing that we're going to be doing this year is those scores. One of them is going to, we're going to have like a lead. Our team managers are going to help with this, but they're going to be required to enter the stats and the sportability this year. It wasn't a thing last year. And obviously we had COVID before that, but the stats need to be updated in the sportability. There's a little quick training session we can do for that. So we just need one parent kind of volunteer to be like the lead scorer person, hopefully one of the more experienced parents that can help just enter in the stats within 12 hours of the game that night, typically, to enter in the quick stats for the game, and then kind of teach other parents how to do that as well. But and then the other thing we'd like to do this year is we've worked out the discussions with the Linden Tribune. That same lead scorer person will hopefully just give a quick update to the Linden Tribune, to post the game stats and the results with like a little brief paragraph in the sports section. And that'll be really cool because we're just trying to drive more awareness. Then we also needed volunteers for video and field setup. Typically, I've done the video stuff in the past, but we've made it so super easy that we just love to get some volunteers that are willing to kind of help set up and run that. We have a new live stream camera system that we're going to be using this year. We'll talk about more in the next slide, but field setup for home games, it's just getting the goals, getting the scoring table set up. It's pretty easy, pretty basic, but we just need volunteers to kind of sign up and do those roles. Sideline manager, we need 1 for each home game, 1 to 2 for each home game. We need at least 1, but ideally you have 2 kind of helping out. And then a team parent to help organize team dinners, the senior night, and the end of season kind of ceremonies and stuff. So those are the bigger roles that we need this year. I'm sure Mary will be reaching out to parents to kind of help organize that. So if you guys are interested in helping out, we just need volunteers, and to help support this stuff, because we're a volunteer organization. The new camera system, which is really cool. I'm really excited about this. It'll save me 4 hours every night after a game, clipping and editing things. It's going to allow the players to be able to do their own edits of clips. It was kind of a little bit of a problem-ish when we first rolled this out, but it's going to be a little bit different now. They're not going to be able to save those right away, but they are going to be able to export them. And it's really useful for players that need to get video of themselves out to coaches and other programs for college recruiting. And we're going to use this as a video analysis tool for post games for our films on Fridays, and helping the kids kind of see the field a little bit better. So we have a new camera system. All it is a tripod, an app, and a camera. It's battery powered, it live streams, and we just need someone to help set it up and kind of monitor it during games. And it's just one of those volunteer roles. COVID is still a thing for now. Like, I hope that's going to be changing here pretty soon. It feels like it, kind of the momentum's going in that direction. But we will still follow the WIAA and county rules for all the mandates. But I can tell you right now, there's no masks, there's no COVID testing, there's no vaccine requirements to play our club sport. So all that stuff that you would typically find in some of the schools that I don't know what they're at right now, but that's pretty much kind of going away. But we will still follow the WIA standards for outdoor spring sports. Kind of the big news for this year is we have put in the work off season. We are now PLL verified for the PLL Academy, which means that we can get discounts on things like the trainings and the clinics that they have in Seattle. We can start hosting our own clinics and camps. We're looking for a Paul Rabel overnight camp at Western, probably either this summer or early next year if the logistics don't work out. So we're trying to step up our game with getting kids exposure to higher level lacrosse, we've been trying to take kids away out of season to go back east. We haven't really been able to be successful at that. So plan B was maybe we can find a way to bring the pros out here. And this is the direction that we're kind of heading. So kudos for a lot of work off season for everyone that's been involved in this, and stay tuned for more information. This is pretty cool. We're just trying to take our program kind of to the next level. We're the first ones in the northern part of the state. There's two others in the Seattle area, and then one out in Wenatchee that are verified as well. But this is kind of big for us. So we're going to be starting partnering with Bellingham and Skagit, hosting these overnight camps and clinics and day camps and day clinics. And as we get updates to some of the opportunities for the Seattle and local camps and clinics, we're going to be posting those out to you guys. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you guys a little preview of 2023. I'm going to say again, this is not required for this year, but we are doing a uniform update change next year for 2023. I'm just throwing this out there now especially for the new parents to kind of see that we're going to be doing a team order of helmets, team order of gloves, and we will be getting new uniforms in 2023. We just couldn't quite get it done in the 2022 timeframe. The youth is already going in this direction, and the high school will be for next year. We will be ordering pennies for everyone, but that's quickly what the new uniforms kind of look like. Okay, this is a little break for the it's a little break. So I want to go to I have a bunch of stuff for new parents, but I want to go to the board section to make sure we cover all the board stuff, which is in another app. And I don't know if Yetch is going to present or if I'm going to present, but we'll figure something out when I get this thing up. Do you guys see that new presentation? Anyone? Mary, do you see this?
No, I don't see it.
Where is it? See it now?
Yes.
Cool. So this is the board section. Megan is our president here. Andrea has graciously decided to come back and be vice president. Michael, I believe he's on. I saw his name pop up. He's our treasurer. Christine is the secretary. Brad Barrett is our equipment manager. And then Mary, whose voice you've kind of heard on and off, she's our at-large member and kind of heading up our a fundraising committee and our youth coordinator for this year for the younger guys. And then Yetja, she's our at-large member. I think she's kind of moving into the secretary role this year. So it's kind of really exciting. These board members are awesome. They're being really effective off season. It's been pretty amazing to work with these guys. So hats off to, Mario and Dave and Chris and all the other guys that have helped out in the past. They know the work that goes into this stuff. So it's been kind of crazy coming out of COVID, and these guys are doing a lot of good work. So thank you for them. And just if you have any problems or questions, you can always come to me as the athletic director, and you can go to any of these board members directly for questions or answers. We've already kind of thank you to the board members. We've already done that. We don't have a sign up here. We did this at the youth to have people sign up, but those are those volunteer roles that we're looking at filling. We've kind of we hit on those a little bit earlier. So if you're interested in any of those roles, please stay on after this and we'll just answer those questions, especially for the new parents. Again, new equipment this year. It's really just chest pads. And then the other thing, Mary, do you want to talk about the fundraising stuff? That's kind of your wheelhouse.
Okay, so we have a couple of fundraisers going on right now to reduce the cost of play. We're doing the Van Wiggerton hanging baskets. They are gift certificates that your player sells. For every 5 sold, it's a $95 discount. So it's a great opportunity to reduce the cost of playing. And then we have a mandatory fundraiser. And what that's going to require for the high school team is that you're going to show up early on the day that we give you to help run the youth part of it. But it's kind of set up like most schools have like a jogathon or something like that. It's very similar. They're going to go out, they're going to get sponsors, and then we're going to have the speed gun set up. So how fast the balls are thrown. And then Michael, you might have to refresh my memory on this, but then it's going to be how many balls can be scooped in a minute. And then the farthest shot, extra points if you make it in the goal. But we're just going to move them through real rapidly. But we're also going to do like a hot dog dinner, just hot dog chips, some soda, some water. So that parents can connect with each other, but also invite grandparents, aunts and uncles, people who have supported, because we want to build family, and we do want to definitely showcase lacrosse to the community. So invite those that even might be interested in playing. So those are our 2 main fundraisers.
Cool. Yeah. And with the fundraisers, we're able to probably get the cost to play down to, I think what you said was about $5 on the registration. I'm not sure if that works for high school,
Correct.
but I know, yeah. So if you guys active with the fundraisers, we can, that registration fee comes down pretty dramatically fast. So, but yeah. Grit works. So for those parents, this is, the 7-8 program has gobbled this up, which is really awesome. We tried to get this going as a preseason clinic or conditioning camp. It's not like a spring camp for the guys. We weren't able really to get that together, but we're going to be pushing this a little bit harder next year. Really fundraising to get the cost down as much as possible to kind of offset that cost to the players. But really, it's a huge way for these kids to get to the next level athletically, and just to kind of bond a little bit off season, preseason before they come in. So we're testing it out with these youth guys that are kind of doing it as a little cohort. And if it's successful, most of those kids are board members, kids. So if they find it beneficial, then hopefully next season, next off season coming in the spring, we can start this. And it'll kind of run from that January timeframe to about March. So it'll be like a 3-month conditioning preseason camp. So I'm really excited about this. We're trying to create these strategic partnerships with the PLL and GritWorks to kind of really get our kids at a higher level of lacrosse, and athleticism is one of the big ones that we're looking for. So stay tuned for more information on that. Upcoming dates, we've already kind of talked about that. That's all you stuff. So most of that we're just going to skip. Again, we talked about Sports Engine as our communication tool. Please download the app. It's on our website. It's on the registration page and on our parent resource page. I'll show you guys that when we get done with this. We're going to skip past some of this stuff out of the game. That's just your insurance requirements. We talked about the equipment. Okay, so that's pretty much a wrap on all of the stuff for the existing parents that have been here for a while that kind of know what's going on. Any questions or any kind of concerns or anything that we need to talk about before we go on for the new players to kind of get new parents to kind of get an idea of, we'll go a little bit deeper into our program and answer any more specific questions. So. Okay,
in the chat, I saw that there is a player who needs a chest pad. How would they go about getting that chest pad?
So Dick still has some, but I think the inventory is pretty low. And who is that? Oh, it's Robert. Yeah. So if you can get them online, that'd be the best way. We did try to do a team order of equipment. I do have several sets just in case if players absolutely need them. So if they're still available online, we still want kids to try to get them as much as possible. You can try Jesse Weg at the secondhand store. He's got a very limited inventory as well. But if you can't find one, just please feel free to reach out to me and we will make sure that you guys can get the gear that you need.
Will Jesse have new required chest pads because he's a secondhand store?
He's gotten some, and he can get some through Champ Pro. So he's got vendors that he can work with that he can get some of that. So yeah. Like I said, if you can't get it anywhere else, feel free to just come to me and reach out and we'll get it taken care of. Okay, so if there's no questions, any of the old parents can stick around if they want. And we got just about 5 more slides to go through for the new families and the parents that are just curious. And then we'll have a deeper question and answer period at the end. I'm trying to keep this as quick as possible. I know it's Valentine's Day weekend, and I know it's the Super Bowl's tomorrow, so we could take some bets. We were smart to schedule on Saturday instead of Sunday, but I think anyways, we'll talk about Super Bowl stuff later. But so I want to thank all the parents that are here that are sticking around. We're just going to continue going forward. So this is we have a mission statement kind of for our program. And it's our primary goal is to elevate lacrosse through the community.
Hey, real quick, Jarrett, real quick. Yep. All I'd say before everyone drops off or before a chunk of people drop off is we have declared a JV and varsity team this year. If your players have friends that have been thinking about the sport, want to try it, want to come out and give it a go, or have some skill in other sports but haven't played lacrosse yet for some reason, like make sure to have your kids bring their friends along too, to at least try it the first week or two, and we'll get a stick in their hands and let's see how it goes, because the kids always have more fun playing with other kids. And there's going to be the 2 teams. So we'll have some slots so that people can get more playing time. Even some of the newer players can maybe join JV.
Thank you for.
And the only thing that we request is that they have their US lacrosse card, just because that's our insurance. So they don't have to commit by paying if they're not sure if they want to play. We just want them to be insured.
Correct. Yeah, so thank you. So we're kind of changing the direction of not changing the direction of our club, but we're deepening the direction of our club. We're kind of really emphasizing the growth of lacrosse in our area and how we can how we can grow it and affect it. So that's kind of our mission statement. And we've been seeing a lot of success. We've helped Nooksack Valley. They got a 69 stick grant this year, which is pretty amazing. And we're helping out some of these other schools with these PE outreach programs that we're doing. And it was really awesome to see Andy, oh my goodness, Andy Tanner. And I think hopefully Bocce helped out with it too. They just did a little wrap up session with Friday with the Linden LC High School, which is pretty cool. And I think Andy came to some of the ones that we did before, and hopefully he said it was a lot of fun, a lot of success. So mad props for him for stepping up and kind of helping with that, because we couldn't get into schools due to the blackout period. So we have core values. Our core values are kind of character. Oh, the animation's not going. Oh, I'm not presenting. But anyways, core values are character, attitude, valor, and scholar. Those are the kind of the key core concepts that we're looking for to develop in our athletes. They're not just lacrosse players, but we're trying to develop them into good men as well. And we're committed as coaches to kind of deepen that a little bit. So my coaching philosophy for the varsity and the JV teams are that basically winning is important, but we care more about the player development. We care more about how the players are growing and performing. And our success is measured not by the scoreboard, but by what we see in the characters of the kids. So obviously winning would be better, but we know that we can't control the outcome of every game. And so we use this as our kind of our basic model. And then for me, I'm really kind of passionate about the coach, player, parent triangle or circle. Those three elements have to be there to help these kids grow and love the sport, and also be successful on and off the field. So it's kind of a trifecta approach, and we don't get to just know the kids, we get to know the parents as we're doing this as well. And that's the one thing that's been pretty successful, especially through youth coming into high school, is this community piece, and then we want to keep deepening that as our club. So we have some expectations from our coaches that they'll model the core values that we talk about, that will communicate clearly. And the other thing, we'll address concerns in a professional manner. I need to apologize for losing it at the first game last year. That wasn't very good role modeling on my part for some of the stuff that happened in the game, and I apologize directly to the programs involved. But we do have. I do want to emphasize that we have a 24-hour rule after games. Games are very emotional for the players, the coaches, and everyone, sometimes, and the parents, everyone involved. So if you can wait for 24 hours to bring concerns about things like playtime or things that happen in a game, just let it set for 24 hours. And if you don't, if you still feel the need to communicate it after 24 hours, then feel free to reach out to me. And typically, most of the time, the kids are going to know the answer. So if a parent's coming to me with a question or concern, we're going to probably have the player there as well. And what ideally the player is probably going to be able to answer any questions that the parent has. And it's just a way for us to try to facilitate better adult communication and connection between the coaches, the players, and the parents. Yeah, so then player expectations. There is a player code of conduct that they sign when they register, if they're aware of it or not. We have a copy of it on our website, and I'll show you some improvements to our website at the end of this. But one thing that we're doing this year that really focusing on is we start practices when the first players show up. So I was coaching 3-4 this last year, and it's pretty awesome just to try to test this out. We had Sai come up, and he came to practice about 30 minutes early. So I just threw the music on, and we just started doing some shooting drills, some passing drills. I asked him what he wanted to work on and what his favorite song was. And he was so eager to tell the other kids, like, dude, you get here early and coach will play your favorite song. So then they started trying to get there early enough to figure out who would have the control of the music that day. And so we're going to kind of continue that into the high school as well. And we want players there on time because, like I said, if the practice starts at 5, we're starting at 5. I don't want kids putting their gear on from 5 to 5:15 and 5:20. We do know that if kids are late because of parents driving, that's the parents' issue. We're never going to punish the kid for that. But if kids are driving themselves to practice and they're showing up late, that's going to be a negative impact to the team, and they're going to learn hopefully pretty quickly that if they're not showing up on time, that things are not going to go well for them. So there's going to be good accountability for that. Time management is a crucial aspect for kids to learn. That's one of the things about being like an athlete and a scholar. They kind of have to manage practice schedules and academic schedules. Academics always will come first. It's going to trump athletics any day. But we want kids trying to commit to both and doing the best that they can. But if we do know kids are struggling, we're going to help them. And one of the things, I'm willing to help tutor kids that are struggling, and some of the other players can help that as well, especially this older senior players. And we've had that in our program and in different ways before. We want parents to kind of help the kids to prepare themselves both mentally and physically, getting enough rest, getting enough, getting proper nutrition, those kind of things. I was talking with Josiah off season. He's like, "Coach, I'm ready." He's like, I lost a lot of weight. I put a lot of muscle on. I'm like, good, because I've gained a lot of weight this off season. So maybe we kind of traded a little bit, but he's pumped. He's ready to come out because he wants to throw around with some of the big guys. So anyway, so that's a pretty important portion of it. So we want you guys as parents to kind of encourage that and help set a good example and help them in those roles. So then the parent roles, again, there is a parent code of conduct. We want you guys to cheer your athlete on, but leave the coaching to the coaches. This has not really been a problem at high school, which has been pretty awesome, but it has been an issue at the younger ages. So like, just for instance, again, I was coaching 3-4, and we want our sideline cheering our players on and not being disrespectful to the other team or the refs or the coaches. We want them just cheering them on and not trying to tell the players what to do on the field. At 3-4, it was pretty telling this year. Mary can kind of chime in if she wants, but the kids were really concerned with like getting different messages from the coaches. It's like I said, it's not been a problem in high school, but we just want to keep re-emphasizing it, that leave the coaching to the coaches and just cheer your kid on and set a good example from the stands. Be a role model. It's pretty much standard stuff. And again, we talked about help with proper nutrition and hydration and sleep. So that's pretty much it. So man, 40 minutes, that's pretty good. So the rest of this is, if we have any specific questions or current concerns from players or parents, especially around JV, or I can go back to any of the slides that we hit on if you guys want to dive in that a little bit better. But we have some time for some questions and answers. Did I miss anything, Mary? Yetcha, anything? Thanks for catching me on the JV thing. I hit a little bit, but I'm glad you guys were able to hit it a little harder.
So my only concern is that I'm going to need parents to step into those volunteer roles. So if you are willing to volunteer to be a team parent, I gladly will assist, but I can't do it all. And then I need to know if like everyone can just either be willing to be a sideline manager or a scorekeeper or time clock. Jared, can you go back to that slide so that we can see the volunteer positions? So those are what we need help with. And if you can look at that and be like, yep, I'm going to be at all the home games, I'd gladly be a sideline manager. It's pretty easy. You just kind of maintain that you're going to keep the crowd under control. At home games, we're responsible. It would be a foul against us if whether the other team's acting up or our team sideline is acting up, and you just make sure that there's balls at each end of the field. The score and timer, I've only kept score at 3-4. So Jarrett, can you kind of hit on what that is?
Yeah, so it becomes a bigger deal at high school because some of the playoff, I didn't hit that. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so at a high school level, the tiebreakers are settled by shots and number of shots in a game and saves by goalies. So those stats play a huge role in determining any tiebreakers for playoff seats. The other thing it does is Max Preps pulls those stats in to their website. I don't know how they get it, but somehow they get it off of Sportability. And what they do is they post it at this national level. So coaches that are looking for players, if they know your program, smart coaches will go in and look at what they're doing in max preps to see, and Sportability, to see how well the kids are doing in games. So they can pull that information. It's pretty kind of crazy when you think about it, and get an idea of what this kid is like for recruiting purposes. So we want those to be accurate. We want them to be realistic. So they're kind of important. The other thing that I didn't get hit on, we are a conglomerate program, which means we are not aligned with the school. But what we are doing this year, and I should have brought this up before we lost everybody, which is kind of sad, but we are organizing our own conglomerate playoffs this year. So where normally we would not be eligible for any kind of postseason championship play, there are 21 other programs in the state that are willing to kind of come together and put on our own state championship for conglomerate programs. We're kind of leading that discussion, which is pretty cool, but it's a lot of work. We don't know if it's 100% guaranteed yet, but we're putting in that work now to make sure that we have that opportunity. So every program is kind of involved around this, which is really cool.
So the next thing is the team parent. And like Jarrett said, team parents help with organizing team dinners. They also help with making sure that senior parents are recognized at the end of the season. What other things do the team parents do?
They host a team dinner, organize team dinners during the season. That's really the big one. I mean, it's more important than, we haven't been able to do it for the last 2 years because of COVID. We didn't emphasize it last year because of COVID and just the crazy schedule we had. And the year before that, obviously there was no lacrosse. So the team dinner piece is pretty important. These kids don't have a way of connecting very much during the season, in school, because we are a conglomerate, we're a club. So this is a really great way for kids to kind of bond and break bread and get to know each other. And we'll watch like film and stuff like that while we're doing it. And we'll do little coaching stuff with them while we're doing it. So just organizing those team dinners either at parents' houses or even at venues. We did a couple this last year at Avenue Bread, and we did a couple last year at some venues. The kids really responded really well to it. We had a movie night one night. I think most of the kids enjoyed that. Some of them probably we watched Miracle, so it's hats off to all the hockey families that are coming out to try lacrosse. They've probably seen that movie 1,000 times, but the kids that hadn't seen it, was a pretty good message. So those kind of things, those are the important things. But yeah.
And then there's another question. I don't know if you're looking at the chat, but
I can't see the chat.
Have the times been nailed down for practices yet?
Yes, I just need to update that. I don't have it in front of me right now. So that'll get posted in the app. That's something that the team parent can help with, is making sure all that stuff, audit that stuff, is make sure it's really good. The schedules will be in the app, so we will post those in the app. I just don't have them in front of me right now. I will tell you that the first early seasons, the first 2 weeks of practice, because of daylight savings time, they're fairly early, just because of the issue with we lose light, right? So I think, Andrea, are you online? Do you know when the Whatcom practices, the times are? Do you have that? If not, that's okay. We'll just get that posted. So
give me a minute, I can look it up.
Yeah, and then so like I said, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays we will be at Whatcom for the first 2 weeks, and then after the first 2 weeks, all of our practices during the week are at Bender, except for Fridays. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, the practices are going to be fairly early, just because we lose daylight. I think they start at like 4:30. I have to double check. I should have been more prepared for that one. But again, it'll get updated in the app, so you guys will have access to all of it.
So in the chat, I can see Sharon's iPhone is willing to help with scoring. Can you add your phone number to that so I can contact you? And maybe your name if it's not Sharon.
Okay, so while we have some time, I'm going to pull up our website just to show you guys some resources that we can leverage. So we've put a lot of, I don't know if you guys can see the website. We've put a lot of work into our website this off season. And especially for you new parents out here that are joining, or well, first of all, if you have not registered, please go and click on the registration link and register your players, right? We do have some, I think the early bird discounts are done, but we do have some PE outreach discounts for the kids that are getting it through the PE programs, but we need you guys registering. We don't have very many players registered right now. So that's the first thing. Please go register. And then for the new parents, if you click on the resource tab, you can see there's parent resources, there's some coaching resources. We do have a blog that has some pretty good information in it. Feel free to look through this. There's some good stuff here. There's the mom's guide to lacrosse, which is pretty cool for the new moms and dads. It's I guess it's gender neutral now, but it kind of gives a big overview of what the game is like, and kind of shows what to expect from terminology and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I can't see there. And then there's some videos, and there's a financial aid application if you need that. We talk about our core values here, and then we kind of show what the equipment looks like that you're going to need to play at different levels. Talk a little bit about team gear. The rules are here as well, and just some good information. And then we also have, if you're kind of interested, your kids never played before, you can kind of look at the coaching resources page. There's some good information that we just had a coaches clinic with all our coaches, which is really good. I think they got a lot out of it. We have some sample videos here, but if they want to learn some of the basic stuff, they can click through these resources to start seeing some of the different things that they can do. And we've kind of handpicked these videos and this content to be kind of tailored to some of the stuff that we're specifically emphasizing in our club. So there's a lot of work. Also, the teams page, once we're kind of in the season and rolling, you're going to be able to come in here and click on your high school team and kind of see the schedule, see the stats, see everything that's coming in. You can see that the games are already loaded. I think the practices need to get loaded still, but you can see all the games are pretty much loaded. And is the roster in here yet? Yep. So the roster's in here. Player stats, and you can share videos and posts and photos, and we can see team stats and player stats here as well. So we're going to be looking for that this season from the different volunteers helping us fill this out and update this stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, Jared, a question in the chat was, how are the determinations going to be made on which players play varsity versus JV?
Yeah, so we're going to do a player evaluation this year. We haven't done it in the last 2 years just because just COVID didn't make it really feasible. We were going to do it in 2019 and 2020, but we didn't have a season. So there will be a player evaluation that we'll use to determine who plays varsity and JV. And we have software that the board has graciously invested in to help me streamline it a little bit, but each player will get an evaluation. They're going to get some specific roadmap to kind of help them improve on things, and individual goals, team goals, goal setting is kind of a big piece of that. It's an accountability piece. It kind of helps connect us to the players a little bit better, but there will be an evaluation period. It'll be done in the first week of practice. But again, if it really depends on our turnout, and we're really encouraging players to recruit friends, because like I said, there'll be 6 dedicated games for first time and new players, so they don't feel the pressure of having to play in the big varsity games. But practices will be, let me cover. So practices will still be joint practices. But the JV coach will be either Zach or Ben. And I will be assisting the JV game. So we're all going to be practicing together. We're going to be at the same field, same time, same locations. We might break kids out specifically for certain in practices for specific things. Like if we're running a skeleton offense, we might have the seniors, or excuse me, the varsity team break out and do specific things, and a JV breakout and do specific things as well. But for the most part, practices will be joint, and they'll be learning the exact same things. It's just, it gives a chance for those new players and first time players to really get their feet wet and not feel like they're going to be sucker punched in the mouth in the first varsity game. So any other questions? Who's monitoring chat? That's awesome that you guys are. Thank you for that, because I can't see it. I don't even know how to see it.
I was gonna add in the chat, Andrea keeps getting kicked off. So the practice schedule for the Orca fields are gonna be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like you said, starting February 28th. It's from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on February 28th. March 2nd is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. March 4th is 6:30 to 8:30. March 7th is 6:30 to 8:30. March 9th is 7 to 9. And March 11th is 6:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, and we'll get this updated in the app, so you guys will see the practice schedule as well as the game schedule. So, and again, that'll be posted. If you come into teams, you come into varsity, the practice schedule will be here, and it'll also show up in the app as well. Cool. Any other questions? I plan to stick around as long as anyone's online. So as long as people are online, I will be available to answer any questions if people are a little gun shy to ask in front of others. So I'm sticking around till the last person leaves, but that's all we really have. So hopefully that was quick enough, and we're just trying to get down and dirty, just get one of the things I made all my coaches read this book off season called The Talent Code. And the biggest thing that we're focusing on this year is distillation and friction in our practice planning, and everything that we do is get the message down to as concise as possible. So we're being as efficient as possible and getting the most out of our practice times, and the best use of our deep practices to get kids kind of performing at the higher level. So best place to check for gear. Did someone just say that? Yeah. So the best place to check for gear. So you can look at Dick's, but like I said, the Dick's in Bellingham is kind of running out of inventory. They have very limited, but you'll need, let me go to that real quick so you guys can see what's required of the equipment. And I do have a link in here to Jesse, his contact information. So I would reach out to him first and use that as to see if, so this is what you need. You need helmets, we call them shoulder pads, but they're really chest pads, elbow pads, gloves, a stick of your choosing, and the cleats as well. So that's the new chest pads. And I think I talk about, where do we have? I thought I put Jesse's contact information, but if you guys reach out to me, I can get you Jesse Wegg, who he runs that he has a Champ Pro store in Linden. So Ruth, helmets are not, team helmets are not required this year. We're making the change next year. Yeah, totally. Is that Floyd or is that Ruth? both. Any idea on practice? Yes. So like I said, the first Tuesday and Thursday, we're definitely going to be practicing at Baker. Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to try to carry that out through the whole season. But once our games start, we're going to have to be a little bit more flexible with that. But yes, we are going to have 2 practices up at Baker. We're starting with Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we're going to try to carry that out for the rest of the season. But if you look at our schedule, we have games on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So we're going to be a little bit flexible. I will show you. So if you're going to order a helmet, let me go back to that real quick. If you're going to order a helmet, I'm going to kind of pull this up. So actually we're making the change for the helmet. So the helmets are going to go to a matte blue, probably is what we're looking at for 2022. Right now, if you buy a matte black helmet, you're going to be fine. If you buy black gloves, you're going to be fine. But the rule is that we have to have team gear. So even if you buy a helmet this year, I would try to get a used one or a discount one as low as possible. We're going to do team helmets next year. So we're not totally set on the design yet, but what the logo will be on the side of the helmet, but the players' numbers are going to go on one side, and then we're going to have a team logo on the other side. We're not totally set on that, but if you need to get a helmet this year and you can't get anything else, get a black helmet, you'll be fine. But we are going to do a team order of gear next year, this off season, and we're going to be fundraising aggressively for it, for team helmets and team gloves. Any other questions? Thank you, Valerie. Awesome. So, hey, I heard there's a couple kids from Meridian that are coming out, but definitely make sure that you guys push this to the underclassmen, because we want to try to recruit heavily. And I talked to the AD at Meridian is really excited to add lacrosse when they add lacrosse lines to their field when they get their turf field and their maintenance contract comes up. They're going to turf, and they've already committed that they're going to add lacrosse lines. So thank you guys. Thank you, Floyd and Ruth. There is a survey at the end of this, so feel free to take the survey and be brutal. Awesome. Okay. Well, like I said, I will stick around until the last person leaves, but got no plans. Don't forget, it's Valentine's Day. For all you guys, make sure you do your Valentine's Day stuff for your significant others. Okay, I will stop sharing. So, okay, looks like everyone's just 3. Okay, I